So it's no secret that David Tennant is the fan favourite Doctor. A lot of people I know actually started the show with his interpretation. Like Tom Baker before him, David Tennant is the first face that many people think of when they think of the Doctor. Now, despite him not being my first, it was technically this guy, and despite him not being my favourite, Capaldi, Smith and McGann all have the top spot for me, as you know, I still have a lot of love for Tennant. Sure, I've been known to call him overrated, but that doesn't mean I don't love him to death. He's the quintessential Doctor. The happy-go-lucky man who always has a timey-wimey detector or a thing that goes ding or a dish that spins around. He's always the good guy. He always has his morals. But what if that changed? What if something snapped and the happy-go-lucky man who views us all as equals views himself above us all? A being who can do whatever he wants without consequence? Well then, I think I have just the story for you. The Waters of Mars is and has always been one of my favourite episodes of the show. When I was a kid, I really liked the idea of the Doctor fighting monsters on Mars. But now there are so many small tiny things that I love about the episode, my favourite of which being Captain Adelaide Brooke. You see, Doctor Who has always had hundreds of historical episodes where we meet famous people from history like Shakespeare, Dickens and even Robin Hood. But this was the first time that we met a historical figure from the future. Adelaide Brooke and her team are part of Bowie Base 1, the first colonisation of Mars project. When the Doctor first meets them, we get the standard fanboy moment that we've gotten in all the other historicals. It's a great moment, until the Doctor realises the date. This is the day where everyone dies, and the Doctor is about to witness the cause. Throughout the episode, we find out that a parasitic race known only as the Flood begins infecting the crew of Bowie Base 1 with the intention of getting to Earth and infecting the human race. There's a moment where the Doctor and Adelaide are investigating the cause of the infection, and Adelaide shares a story where a lone Dalek let her live. The Doctor then explains that Adelaide was the first step into ushering humanity into a golden age of space travel, starting with her then continuing down with her descendants for generations to come. Adelaide believes this because she believes she's there to tell her story to her granddaughter in person, but that's not the case. The base begins its evacuation and the Doctor tells Adelaide the truth. Their efforts are pointless. They all die. Despite that, the crew still attempts their escape, with the Flood closing in and in, infecting more and more crew members and then eventually forcing their escape ship to blow up. As the Doctor walks away, he hears the panicked screams of the crew and he has a moment of realization. He's the last of the Time Lords, but he's still following the rules set by those who came before him. He's all alone, so he decides to make his own rules. He goes back to the base and starts to help. Adelaide tries to stop him. It's here where we get one of my favourite lines in the show's history.
There are laws of time, and once upon a time there were people in charge of those laws, but they died. They all died. Do you know who that leaves? Me! It's taken me all these years to realise the laws of time are mine, and they will obey me!
Adelaide and the remaining crew members manage to escape in the TARDIS with the Doctor and destroy the Flood. The Doctor has saved the day. Or has he? You see, the timeline is forever changed. Yuri and Mia told the world about the Flood. History has been changed by the Doctor's actions, something you always vow never to do.
Rose, there's a man alive in the world who wasn't alive before. An ordinary man, that's the most important thing in creation. The whole world's different because he's alive.
And Adelaide rightfully lays into him. She tells him what he did was wrong, how they should have all died. The Doctor then says,
Adelaide, I've done this sort of thing before. In small ways, save some little people. But never someone as important as you. Oh, I'm good.
To which Adelaide responds to with utter disgust. The Doctor, a man who we've known to be humble and never asking for a thank you, has just deemed himself above the rest of us. The Time Lord victorious. The power has gone to his head. He views himself as above the rest of us, at least in this moment in time. Adelaide, either out of disgust by the Doctor's actions or in an attempt to fix the timeline, kills herself. The Doctor hears the gun and realises that he's gone too far. This version of himself has gone too far and will continue to go too far. He sees Ood Sigma from the episode Planet of the Ood. In that episode, Ood Sigma says,
I think your song must end soon.
Meaning?
Every song must end.
Signalling the Doctor that his time is nearly up. But in a somewhat vain attempt to fix his mistakes, the Doctor runs away from his death, knowing he can't die after what he just did. I think what makes the Doctor a villain in this episode is his, let's say, willingness to throw his morals out the window. But it makes sense. Hell, it's even justified. He was tired of seeing innocent people die when he could just help them. The amount of times the Doctor had to just leave people to burn is astonishing. Case in point, the fires of Pompeii. He's the cause of the volcano, but he can't save anyone, apart from Peter Capaldi's family, but that's a whole different thing. If he could, he would have saved all of them, which is what the Time Lord Victorious would have done in this situation. But it doesn't change the fact that what he did betrayed what it means to be the Doctor. Granted, maybe not as much as the Doctor becoming a soldier, but it still betrays his moral code. He abandoned who he was to try and be the Time Lord Victorious. It's definitely an odd perspective I have. I know some people who just think that the Doctor wasn't in the wrong. But you come here for an opinion piece after all, and I truly believe that in my opinion, that the Doctor lost his way. He was borderline evil, especially with Adelaide in the end. This to me is the definitive Tennant story. It takes everything we know about his incarnation and utterly destroys it, leaving us with the knowledge that we'll be dealing with a broken Doctor in his regeneration episode. And what's interesting is that how the Doctor behaves in this episode still affects how she acts now.
Yeah. Because sometimes this team structure isn't flat. It's mountainous, with me at the summit, in the stratosphere, alone. Left to choose. Save the poet. Save the universe. Watch people burn now, or tomorrow. Sometimes, even I can't win.
This episode is truly something special, and I genuinely believe that it will stand the test of time. Hopefully we get more fleshed out looks into the Doctor's psyche in future episodes, because in my opinion this is when Doctor Who is at its best. No big time or revelation, no big twist, no new incarnation showing up, just a man who lost his way. I seem to have a little bit of a theme going on, if you can tell.
No.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not quite sure what or when I'm going to be posting next. I have 1,000 videos I want to make, but I still have to write the scripts. But that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, then you should definitely check out Time of the Whovies United, where my friend George is planning on making a video about the Master's reintroduction. I've read the script and it's fucking fantastic, so please just go over and send him some love. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers for watching and have a nice day.
Oh, God.